Is kelp the future to cleaner oceans? In just 1 year, 1.2 trillion gallons of untreated sewage, stormwater, and industrial wastewater are dumped into U.S. ocean waters, and about 10% of America's beaches fail to meet the federal benchmark for what constitutes safe swimming water. In my project, I'm wondering if kelp is the key to absorbing these toxins. This would provide a renewable way to help fix this problem. I tested 5 different contaminants: copper sulfate, titanium dioxide to mimic sunscreen, green dye, red dye, and sulfuric acid to see what effect kelp has on them when compared to a control. I predicted that native California kelp would efficiently absorb environmental toxins from seawater when compared with a control. Kelp would absorb acid better than toxins like dye, titanium dioxide, and metals because kelp is known to absorb CO2 and reduce acidity levels in the ocean. During 1 week with kelp, copper sulfate, red dye, and sulfuric acid all absorbed at least 85% of the toxin compared to the control. Also, green dye absorbed 56.4% when compared to the control, and titanium dioxide decreased by 29.2% when compared to the control. For the copper, this happened because kelp uses many nutrients in order to survive, one of which is copper sulfate. The reason that the kelp absorbed the dye is because the dye used was made of acid and sodium chloride, and the acid has CO2, which the kelp can use for photosynthesis. Also, salt is very dense, so if the kelp absorbed the salt, it would reduce the density and spread out the molecules. The reason the kelp absorbed the sulfuric acid is for the same reason. The reason the kelp absorbed the titanium dioxide is because it acted like a sponge for the powder to stick onto. The powder was sticking onto the leaves as shown in this picture. Because kelp has the ability to filter some toxins out of the water and is renewable, it is a great way to filter ocean water. Shown is a model of how my science project could be used in a real-life situation. The kelp could be forested next to pipes that dump unfiltered water into the ocean or bay, and it could provide a layer of filtration for the water. Big takeaways. Kelp can quickly and effectively remove contaminants out of seawater. It is a renewable, efficient, and effective way to clean our oceans.